Yeah, so hi guys, this is Shadow Girl Sherry clocking into TikTok. And when I say clocking in, guys, if you've watched any of my other videos, where or tuned in into any of my other lives, you know that I have a tendency to start the live out that way by saying I'm clocking into TikTok. With that being said, I just want to say that I haven't gone live in about, let's see, I think it's been like a week and one day. Because I remember the last time I went live, I really do believe it was on a Sunday. It wasn't yesterday, but the Sunday before. So it's been a little bit since I've been on, and I kind of feel bad about that. For one reason, because I'm trying to, get my channel to build up more, not only here on TikTok, because I said clocking into TikTok. And there are kind of rules and things that you have to stick to if you really want to get going on TikTok. You have to be consistent and all that. And then not only do I want to go live on TikTok, but I also want to go live more on YouTube. I haven't even gone live once on YouTube, and I want to expand to other platforms. But anyhow, with that being said, I say clocking into TikTok a lot, and it kind of makes it sound like it's a job. And this is something, to me, I enjoyed so much, spending, coming on, going live and spending time with, whoever comes to hang out with me. I really enjoy it. It doesn't seem like a job or anything. So also, when I say clocking into TikTok, it kind of makes you think about numbers. Right now, I've talked about the number six a lot, but for different reasons. 3, 6, 9 for lots of different reasons, whatever. If you're into spirituality, you probably know the importance of those numbers, but don't want to keep going into all that. Want to get started on this. But what I'm thinking about the number six tonight for is because of the fact that, I was looking up some information, and it so said that 6 o'clock, if you celebrate what I am going to be talking about tonight, 6 o'clock is said to be a really special time. Like, you would prepare for this maybe a little bit before, like you would be putting like the finishing touches on everything that you were, trying to get going. You would be putting the finishing touches on it at like five, something after five, like 5:30, whatever, working up to 6 o'clock. And 6 o'clock would be a big deal. With that being said, I'm going to jump into what I'm talking about tonight. I'm going to be talking about, I hope that you could see it in the description or the title. I hope that I got it up right. Today, not everybody would know about it. I definitely wouldn't have any idea about this if I were not, on a journey with spirituality. With that being said, I'm going to quickly say what my channel is about in the first place. My channel, Sunset Songs, is all about my personal journey with the law of attraction, where if you're watching this video, you may already know what the law of attraction is. The law of attraction is the idea that like attracts like. If you were thinking positive, hanging out with positive people, my channel was called Sunset Songs, so I'll say even listening to positive music, humming positive songs, whatever you want to say. If you were doing positive things, then it would be said that through the law of attraction, you would be attracting positive back into your life. Of course, this is a world of duality. If you are thinking negative, hanging out with negative people, listening to negative music, all that kind of different thing, you would be, through the law of attraction, whether you know it or not, whether you're aware of it or not, excuse me, one thing leads to another. It's so said that through the law of attraction, you would be attracting the negative back into your life. With that being said, I'm also going to go ahead and say that usually on my channel, I come up with a sunset song. Now, what's a sunset song? I'm going to quickly say that. A sunset song is basically before I go live or I make a video, I try to think of a song that is, I ask spirit or my higher self, whatever, just put a song in my mind or in my heart. And the idea is for that song to be tailored around whatever the subject matter is that I'm going to be talking about in what I will call that particular episode or installment to my channel, Sunset Songs. So with that being said, tonight I am talking about something that I don't know a whole lot about. Diwali, I'm still learning. If I say something like that's not correct or I pronounce something wrong, if this is something you normally celebrate, please, just understand I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything like that. Um, Again, this is all about my personal journey with the law of attraction. And with that being said, it's a journey. So I'm learning on that journey. I don't know everything. I'm learning, and I'm just asking you my personal journey with the law of attraction, where I'm hoping to take you along with me. And that happens whenever you choose to share in my lives. You leave a comment anytime you like, click, share, subscribe, any of that stuff. You are going on the journey with me. So it's all about us growing together. With that being said, I always try to think of a song that is kind of pertains to whatever the subject matter is. Now, being that tonight I'm talking about Diwali, and I don't know a whole lot about Diwali. I don't know if there are particular like songs, just like I think it's called a mantra, um, or different chants that would be said. I don't know all those chants or any, about that. Again, this is about my journey, so I don't know everything. You may leave some things in the comments to kind of teach me, even though you're joining the live with me. But again, it's joining the live. So we're talking. This is a conversation. This is a chat. So with that being said, it did come to me, a sunset song. I don't know who would know this song or who won't know this song. But this, I'm going to say, is kind of like a spiritual song. You might even say it's like a religious or, that kind of a song. Being that Diwali, the way I'm understanding, obviously has a lot to do with spreading joy and spreading light, light over darkness. The song that popped up in my mind was a song that I've heard a lot at church, and it's not just, I've heard it at church. I have, people have requested it at churches that I've gone to. It's also a song that I think, children sing. When I was a child, I knew about this song. The song is called "This Little Light of Mine." Now, guys, again, I don't know a whole lot about Diwali, but come on now, lights. We're talking about like candles and all that different stuff, and just the lights. That makes me think of the song This Little Light of Mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna quickly also say, guys, being that I call myself Shadow Girl Sherry, I talk about the duality of life. I try to definitely focus on the positive, but at the same time, even before I knew what shadow work was, I was already calling myself Shadow Girl Sherry. Later on, I found out Shadow Girl Sherry. I found out my channel's called Sunset Song, so that's joining light and darkness. A sunset is, light and darkness, and a shadow. I don't have the definitions right in front of me or anything like that, but I know that you have to have light and darkness together. Like the two come together in a way, and one has to bounce off the other. You know what I'm saying? And you see a shadow. So I'll just say that. But with that being said, I have to deal for myself. I have to, sometimes I have a way in kind of thinking negative thoughts, obviously, or looking at, things in a darker way. But my idea is to definitely have a balance there, and to always try to pick myself up out of, if I get into a depression, or, kind of look towards the light. So I'll say that. So also with that being said, just a shadow. I called myself Shadow Girl Sherry, all that. This little light of mine. My idea is, thinking of that song, the light might be somewhat dim sometimes, or it might not be the brightest. But with that being said, I think the song This Little Light of Mine, it could be the smallest light. But if you can find something like that's around you, or you wind up, you get around somebody that makes you feel, picks you up some, then that's like a little light of mine. And even if it's a small light, try to focus on that light. And I really do believe that it's going to grow stronger. So That's what I want to do to say as well. But with all that being said, guys, I want to talk a little bit about Diwali. Now, guys, first off, and again, I shouldn't say first off because I've been talking a little bit, and that's the thing about me. I am a Gemini, so I can be a little bit talkative, really talkative. Not everybody knows that. People that would know me in everyday life, you would have to be closer to me, and then you would know, you know what, Sherry is a little bit talkative. And even TikTok, when I go live, later on, usually it goes over an hour and I don't even get to upload the whole live on TikTok. I have to take it over on YouTube, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you if for some reason this goes over, which I know it's going to, it always does. On TikTok, the idea is to tick and talk fast, and, a lot of people's attention spans are short. So, it's kind of good to say what you got to say and, whatever. But also, on TikTok, I just want to say, if you go over an hour, you have went over too long for TikTok, at least. So, if you want to come back later on and see the clips, I will have clips up for the video, for this live. And if you will go ahead and join me on, YouTube, I'm over there under Sunset Songs. That's the name of my channel altogether. That here you're going to, on TikTok, you're going to find, even on YouTube, you can find me if you look under Sherry Shadow Closet, Shadow Girl Sherry, Sunset Songs, you're going to find me. You just have to find the right, like, Sunset Songs if you look for Sunset Songs, because I do think there's quite a number of channels that goes by Sunset Songs, but mine is all about my personal journey with the law of attraction. So let me jump into this, guys. I want to thank anybody who is joining me, who decides to jump into this live, leave comments, whatever, because again, I don't know everything about Diwali. I am learning. It's a journey, but at the same time, this is said to be a pretty auspicious, day. Not everybody knows about it, but obviously it's something very, very happy and joyous and all that. So if you are taking this special time and you are joining me, I want to thank you so much for doing that, because it's really lighting my light up. It's lighting the candle. It is adding to this little light of mine. So thank you. So I'm going to jump into it, guys. I got the thing about when I first started, my personal journey, and I really started getting into the law of attraction and all that, I was going through like a darker period. And that was the death of my mother. First it started out with the illness of my mother, and later on, the illness, the long, carried out illness that my mom went through. She was sick for 10 years. The last 10 years of her life, she was fighting, she was basically fighting for her life. And finally she succumbed to the illness and she passed away. And I say this little light of mine, through all that, it was hard keeping that light lit. But spirituality and different things like that, it kept the light going, and I found my way back into enjoying life and all that. And here I am now. So, this little light of mine. But guys, when I say the law of attraction and, the spiritual journey, guys, I look at it as, I look into everything when I kind of compare different things when it comes to spirituality, religion. It's a big discussion with me. Again, I'm not going to say that I definitely believe in God, but my idea is when I go to church and people kind of look at it as, okay, I kind of look at it as, how can you tell someone else what not to believe? Different people, obviously, I'm talking about Diwali tonight. People grow up in different areas. They grow up in different families, and we all, whatever our parents, start us out with, obviously that's going to have a pretty significant part in our lives, the very, the roots of our lives. And then once we get older, you either keep up with that or you move on to something else or whatever. But my idea is, for me, I call it God, the energy God, but at the same time, other people may call it different things like source energy, or you may, my idea is just having something, to me, is having something really to believe in. So I'm going to say that. But there would be some people that would look at this and say, oh, I'm not even going to look into the idea of like Diwali or anything like that, because they're just thinking of what they already know. And my idea is, when I talk about spirituality and all that, I don't want to limit myself to just one thing. There's lots of different people in the world. And if I had my way, I would do some traveling. I would do some traveling. I would just want to think that I'm going to go to places that are going to be safe, and I want good company and all that, and take it from there. But basically, one thing that I thought about when it comes to Diwali, I looked up some information about Diwali, and because I don't know a whole lot about it. And when I looked that information up, the first thing I thought of was, okay, I'm African American. And I'm like, okay, do Black people, African Americans, are they known to, like, is it okay for African Americans or, Black people to celebrate Diwali? Does that happen? Is it only for like a certain group of people? Like, would it be disrespectful, or is it only for certain people? When I looked up the information on it, it's not that way. Diwali, the idea is for everybody. Everybody can join in, anybody that wants to spread the joy and be a part of that light, whatever, this little light of mine, you can join in. So I love that idea. I just think that I find that to be awesome. So with that being said, I want to read some of the notes that I found about Diwali. Guys, when I first got into the law of attraction, there was different people that I think a lot of people, there were a lot of us that during COVID-19, that may have drawn you into spirituality or different things that may not have been what maybe you were into before. There were people that, you may have went to church and you went in your home and read the Bible, whatever, or you may have started kind of wondering like what's going on with the world, and you went another way or whatever. But for me, with my spirituality and all that, there were different people. Obviously with COVID, we couldn't go out into the world and be around other people. So I got on things like, I think TikTok even, I could be wrong, but I heard that TikTok really got started during COVID-19. Now, don't quote me on that, just like whatever, but I do understand the way I've heard is that TikTok got started with COVID-19. Okay. And with that being said, we all know that during COVID-19, you couldn't go out into the world and spread love and joy and all that. You had to be in your house, and you were, if you lived alone, you were alone, or you were with your family, whatever. And, we're all hoping, not to get the virus, whatever. Don't want to go into all the sadness about it, whatever. But one thing about me is, being that I'm on a spiritual journey, there were different people that when I started my YouTube channel, and when I got into TikTok, all that, when I would get in the world of getting online and all that, there were different people that in the law of attraction community, in the spiritual community, obviously I was looking, for what other people thought and what they were doing, whatever. And, I'm like, after a while, I'm like, you know what? I want to start a channel. I got so encouraged by different people, and I'm like, wow, man, there is, certain people that I have found, like I'm definitely going to say through YouTube, that I would want to meet them more than I would want to meet somebody that other people would look like as, oh, this is this huge celebrity. Why? There is one particular girl, like, I would be so happy to, if she were in real life the way she is on her YouTube channel. Like, there were maybe two different people, like through COVID-19, that I just followed them like religiously. As soon as I saw a notification that they had made a new video, I'm like, okay, if I can't watch it now, I'm going to watch it later. Okay, one of those people, I still follow her. I'm so excited whenever she puts a video up again. If I could hang out with somebody, it's like, I kind of look at her, I feel like she's somebody I almost know in real life. Like, I feel like I have so much in common with her. And I like her light, the joy that she makes me feel when I watch her video. She, like, if I'm down, she gives me hope. Okay. And one thing about her is she celebrates different things. She's into tarot cards, all that. But I think that she may be Indian. Okay. But and maybe I may be wrong. But the idea is, she knows about Diwali. Like, this is something she has grown up with. And it was a part of her family, like from, being a child and growing up. Okay, so when I first got into, I'm, starting my journey, really diving into the law of attraction, like whatever. And I don't know about you, but when you first get into it, it may be a thing of, if you have a little bit of extra money, you might be like, okay, I'm going to go and buy all these different like candles and different things. And you're so excited about finding out about this stuff that you had no idea even existed. It's like, man, this is really giving me hope. Like, this little light of mine is giving me a light. But when it comes to spirituality, it can be such a big book. It feels like a big book. And you got to figure out, like, what are you going to focus on? What are you not going to focus on? That type of thing. And the thing that I like about this particular young lady that I started following, there would just be different things that she would work with and she would talk about. When I first got started, being that I was watching a lot of her videos and stuff, being that she, celebrated Diwali even as a child, I'm following all her videos and watching everything. I'm like, man, I want to see if I can celebrate this. Like, this seems so happy. Like, why wouldn't you want to be a part of it? And, there could be people that I might know, like, maybe I would say, people that I might call like a friend or somebody I've known or a family member, something like that. They might not understand really, just when I say like even when I say like the law of attraction, or when I say witchcraft. When I say witchcraft, I'm saying, okay, which way do you want to go? I've said it a lot on my channel. When I say witchcraft, I'm not trying to be like, say that I'm going out here and hexing people. Like, my idea is to add to my life. And I really do believe in the elements of nature. I believe in just thinking, I definitely believe in thinking positive over negative. And I love working with the elements of nature. I have a candle lit right now, obviously with Diwali, but it wouldn't even have to be that Diwali. Like, I just like lighting candles. I like lighting incense. I like going outside in nature and breathing in fresh air. I like the sun. My channel's called Sunset Songs. I like the day, but I also like the night. Okay. I like rain. Like, some people, they don't like a rainy day. Sometimes that could put me in a funk, but if it's like especially like a warm summer day and like I hear rain, I love it. And I could, when I think about rain, I think about the positive points of it. Like, you sleep well. Like, I think about a tin roof. I think about, how that would stand on a tin roof. I think about, I don't know, coming inside and lighting a candle, and you get what I'm saying. So with that being said, when I say witchcraft, it's like, which way do you want to go? Do you want to think positive? Do you want to think negative? My idea is, I'm obviously trying to think positive. I know it's a world of duality, so I got to consider that as well. But I'm trying to be lifted, keep listening to upbeat songs, all that. And yes, I do work with the elements of nature, herbs, flowers, love all that stuff. Okay, so she, this particular young lady that I'm talking about, she talks about all these different things. She's talked about tarot cards. You are actually looking at the death tarot card in this, the picture that I have that's like before you right now. I don't want to look at anybody to look at that as in a different disrespectful manner. It's just that when she first started talking about Diwali, she talked about before there is the light, you have the energy of darkness. And that is, I can't help that makes me think of the death tarot card, because obviously a lot of people, when they think of the death tarot card, you think about physical death. Like, oh my God, if you turn the card over, you're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Am I going to lose like a loved one? Do I got to worry about what's going to happen to me today? It's not necessarily that. The death card could just mean that in order for you to move forward, you've got to there is going to be a death, like, of something that's going to happen. Like, it could be that, kind of traumatic. It could be very, very traumatic. Okay. It could be something that isn't that comfortable, meaning, you could be on your job and then you get laid off. Okay. So that's the death of one job. But anytime you have a death in life, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Really, if you try to look at the positive in it, because it's about change. Like, something's going to change, and that's a part of life. We don't always like it, but you have to have endings. You have to have endings. You could be in a relationship, and the relationship ends and you're sad about it or whatever, but then it may be that that person just wasn't meant for you. Like, the universe, God, whatever, has somebody much better in mind for you. Or it could be the idea that you were the one that did the breaking up. You broke somebody else's heart, and you broke up with them, so now they're upset or whatever. Or it could be mutual, and it's just the idea of an ending. But with that ending, with every ending, there is a new beginning. So when you look at the death tarot card, you see dark stuff. You see, the color black. But you see the color black. You see, things that look scary. You see a skull, all that. But then if you look at the card, I've got to study it a little bit more, but I do believe that's a pope. There's a pope in the death tarot card. I try not to focus on that card a lot. I'm not going to lie, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. Okay. And I do believe that there is a pope in that card. I also think that there maybe is a child in that card. I don't know if it's a baby, but I could, look at the card. Obviously, I own, the Rider-Waite deck. I have a Death Tarot card, but I don't have it in front of me. But when I think about Diwali, um, I can't help that when I talk about spirituality, it's just a huge book. And I sometimes look at it where I think of one thing, and I think about how so many people, they want to close the door on another way, like another person's way, like the way they choose to uplift their self in life. Or you may not really understand what someone else is doing, but it doesn't necessarily mean that if you listen to them, you might like their idea as well. And you could maybe at least be like, okay, I can kind of see that reasoning there. So my idea is, when I'm on this personal journey, I talk to, we're all in this chat together. And guys, I hope that you will, again, I love candles. I love candles. Like, this is Diwali. If you're feeling anything that I'm saying, it would really light me up and make me feel like, okay, you're really enjoying this time with me, where you could be out at another Diwali like celebration, but for whatever reason, you join me, you join my live. And I want to thank you so much for doing that. If you would leave, like, I don't know, you could leave anything in the comments, hearts, whatever. I mean, you could, leave something bad if I'd have to just accept it, but I'm hoping that you won't. I'm hoping that, you're enjoying this as much as I am. So with that being said, something that I really like. I want to see. I'll really feel great when if you would leave a candle on any of my videos here, on any of my lives, or any of my live replays, any of the clips, any of my videos here on TikTok. I love candles. I'm hoping that you will go ahead and join me on YouTube. I love candles. That would really light me up. It would let me know that in the same way I'm trying to light your path, I'm trying to light your path. When you leave that candle or you let me know that I'm helping you, you're lighting my path as well. And I talked about that the very first time I went live. Um, I basically have a candle that the first time I went live, I do think that it was titled Lights, Camera, Action. And I explained all that, what it means on there, what the candle means. Basically, it's a long story because I do have, I'm a Gemini, and I can be pretty creative. I can look at things in a different way, and then I'll find a way to bringing that creativity to life. So I'll definitely say that the first time I went live, it was during the Lionsgate's portal. Another time that's said to be about brightness, coming out, being bold, all that. I found a way to really light it up. And it's titled Lights, Camera, Action. So with that being said, um, I basically have an altar that I really try to keep going for anybody that I say has joined like my spiritual family, or you're a part of, you watch my videos and all that. It's all about us lighting each other up and encouraging each other. All right. So basically I try to light candles every day, a candle every day. And I think about you guys, because when I think about the lives and jumping on here and reaching out to people that I feel is trying to be positive, and you're trying to improve yourself and all that, and you're uplifting me and I'm uplifting you, that makes me so happy. So it's like I light a candle. I may not be on with you guys, but I try to light a candle every day and think about you guys, because you guys light me up. It makes me happy to think that there's other people in the world that you're trying to uplift people. And it yes, there are things that you do have to talk about. There's going to be things that you're going to go through. Obviously, it's life. But if we can light a path and try to encourage each other, even in the dark times, it takes a little light, this little light of mine, and just to keep it going and to keep moving. So, with that being said, yeah. So I've got a candle right now. It's actually a 3-wick candle. It's a candle that has 3 wicks to it. But guys, again, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you will hearts. I love hearts. I love candles. But guys, let me jump into this and read some information that I got about Diwali. Okay. I did say again that in this picture there is different things that, it's not all about Diwali, but again, I'm learning about Diwali, right? It's a spiritual journey. I'm learning. So if I say something that isn't right on, like if you've been celebrating this like all your life, or you've been celebrating Diwali for years now, and I said something that, I pronounced something wrong, there's going to be some things I'm going to just spell because I don't know how to pronounce them. Okay. But the idea is I'm learning here. So what I was trying to say is, when I think about spirituality, I like learning lots of different things. So I can kind of be scattered and a little bit ADHD, whatever. But in a lot of ways, I look at different things, and it's like, if two people got together and you talked about it, you may look at it one way, and then this person looks at another, but it looks at it in another way. But I look at different things when it comes to spirituality, different religions and all that. And it's like, wow, this one thing, like, I've been to church and I've heard them use the word manifestation. Okay. I've heard, and they may think of like witchcraft or the law of attraction, to say, oh, that's evil. Okay. But I've heard, and it got to me, I'm sitting in church one day, especially like a little bit before COVID-19, after COVID-19, you know, and I'm hearing the preacher say manifestation. it manifested. And I'm like, okay, that's a word that's used in the law of attraction. Okay. I've heard them talk about, okay, there's, I don't know if it's tithing, like to pay, like to kind of pay your dues. Like you, you pay this percentage. As long as you keep this, you put this out. You don't think about yourself, but you put this out. What you put out, it's somehow going to be returned back to you. If you are putting love and light out into the world, again, the law of attraction, if you're doing positive things, it's so said that somewhere along the line, it may not come back to you. Like if you put money in like the collection plate, or you know what I mean, if you go to church, you can't look at it and just try to keep everything to yourself. If when you put into that, you have to know that there's going to be somebody that's going to help. You might be doing, wonderful today, and then another day you could be down, and it could be a collection plate or a church or something that comes along and helps you. And then you remember, see, I did that, okay. Um, I'm trying to explain it, like, so you understand what I'm saying. I think you get it. It's just what you put out. It's not good to keep just things to yourself and always think about receiving. When you give, you receive somewhere along the line. I mean, you're going to get it back. And that's just the way I look at it. Okay. So, but with that being said, I've heard the word manifestation. I've heard the idea of, okay, you've got to, if you're working with a deity, you've got to come to them with an offering. There is at church, there is an offering plate, or, an offering. Like they're going around and they're the bowl, or it's being taken around, and then you put what you have in it, what you want to offer, you put it in there. Okay. And if you are coming to a deity, or, a goddess, whatever, you can't just come and say, make all these demands and think that, this is a deity. Okay. You're asking for their time. This is a spirit. Like there's so many different people that could be coming to them. So you can't come with just your hand out and think, okay, I'm going to take from you. It's an energy exchange. So it's an energy exchange. So you come and bring something. So it's just the idea of, some people would think that, you're leaving something, an offering or whatever you have to give to receive. Okay. I feel like I've explained that well, but altogether, I can just see a connection with a lot of different things, where if everybody just came together and stopped kind of judging each other and saying, okay, this is the only way to go. I don't know if God, a loving God, would really see it that way. Like a person couldn't help if they grew up like in another place and they were never told about this, or this is the way I see it. Like they just grew up in another place. Okay. That's the way I look at it. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and read some of the notes that I got about Diwali. Okay. And again, understand that when you're looking at this tarot card, it is because I think you'll understand when I read this. Something, the oh this deity, and I've got a lot to learn. I hope I'm not going to pronounce it wrong. There is the idea of death. Like this particular one has to come before the other. And the way I understand, the one, you would definitely, the energy would have been like maybe yesterday or last night. So there's darkness. So there's darkness before the light. There is that energy with the death tarot card. I'm not saying that is what Diwali, Diwali is about. But being that I look into different parts of spirituality, I couldn't help that made me think of the death tarot card. Okay. Because there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but something has got to die. Something's got to go. Okay. And it's kind of like an exchange, like a balance, really. It is, I think I've explained that well. Even in not the incense, I can't say incense, but the wax melt. This is like a burner. You put a candle at the bottom, which I used a black candle. I used a little black tea light because I'm thinking about negative energy. The negative energy, getting rid of that before you step into the light. And I'm kind of thinking about that death tarot card. I don't have all the beautiful lights and colors and different things that go along with Diwali because I'm still learning about it. With that being said, this particular young lady that I have been following, when she first started talking about it, I couldn't help that when she's telling me about Diwali, it lit me up, and I'm like, that's beautiful. Like, this is like people coming together and thinking positive, and I love that. So, you see, my idea is I understand that the way I understand tonight would be the time where the energy of Lakshmi, I think I'm pronouncing it right. Lakshmi. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it right. Um, but that energy is strong right now, tonight, and on into the night. But yesterday or before that, you had to have that energy of it. This comes in and it takes away the obstacles that need to be handled before you're going to have this light, before you're going to have this transition. And guys, I looked into it. The more I looked into it, I have to read my notes. I come to find out that all this, the more you go into, you're on this journey with the law of attraction, or maybe you won't call it the law of attraction. If you are working with like the chakras, whatever, um, everything just starts to, the more you work with the phases and different things, even the moon phases, things start to slowly come to you. And it's like, okay, I didn't understand that last year, but now I get this. Like, there was this little bit of a connection, and now it's all coming together more. I had a feeling like a lot of the, drawings or pictures that I have seen of, I think it is Lord, I tried to look up how do you pronounce, the name, Lord Ganesha. It makes me think about the chocolate ganache, but no, no, not trying to be disrespectful, anything like that. But that's just what it makes me think of. But I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. In lots of different drawings and paintings and, things I've seen, I've noticed that he is wearing red pants. Red pants, okay? I've seen it, okay? Maybe not everywhere, but red pants. I've come to find out that actually it works with the root chakra, which, the root chakra, if you're thinking about a tree, that would be the trunk, the base of the tree. Okay. And then if you were to think about this in your body, like this energy in your body, it starts at the base of your spine, and it deals with, I think it's kind of a start of shadow work, really. Okay. Like, I feel like my shadow girl Sherry started when I was a child, and it's something that I need to heal. And, it's your inner child. But I think that a lot of those things started when in my childhood. Okay. I'm not saying just like parents or anything like that, but going to school, different things that I went through, like trauma and different things that maybe I didn't process in the best way. And this is like my inner child reaching out to me and saying, hey, you need to work with me and we can make this better. Okay. So basically, I come to find out that I think it's Lord Ganesha or Gana. I apologize if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Um, he is like the guard or the guardian, or, I should just read the paperwork. He is the one that like rules, maybe, I hope I'm using the right words, rules over the what is it? The root chakra. And the root chakra has to do with, it's red, and it has to do with, stability. Do you feel stable? Stability. oh, what's the other words? I guess I could just read this and then you would know what I'm talking about. But then when I looked more into it and I'm like, I saw the word lotuses, like the flower, a lotus. A lotus grows from muddy, dark conditions. But it's a beautiful, you know what I mean? I mean, if you just look it up, like how a lotus comes about. Like, I think it's water. It's not like muddy waters. If I'm thinking about it right, it's muddy waters. But there's a lotus is a beautiful flower. But it grows from, it doesn't necessarily have to be beautiful from what it grows from. So I'm gonna keep talking from there, but I had did a video way before I started going live. I didn't feel comfortable going live yet. So I was making videos where I would make the videos beforehand. They're not um they're not where like I have Hollywood or I just take stuff of my own and whatever and I set it up and then I say that this is the setup, this is the scene, and this is the way I'm saying it. I don't even know how to edit videos. I need to learn how to do that. I could go to like a professional and have that done. Hey, I'd love to do that, but I think maybe I would get more subscribers or whatever that way because it would look more polished and professional. But my idea is I want to bring Sherry, Shadow Girl Sherry, even as I change, I want to bring my touch, my print to that. And I want you to know, man, this is one of her videos. This is just, she's coming to you and being real. So with that being said, I had made a video about the root chakra. I think it wasn't last year, it was the year before. And where I put out all kinds of red stuff, obviously. It could have been anything that I found that was red. I think I also put rose quartz in there because I think I did maybe put some rose quartz in the video as well because, pink is like a kind of like a variation of red. But I may have put red lipstick, all this just different red stuff, red fruits. I had fake cherries in the video, whatever. But I put it all together and I'm like, oh my goodness, like a lotus. Like I put it all together. I had made the video about the root chakra. I hope that maybe go over on YouTube and you can find the video that I made. I'd like to do another video again this year in January because obviously the root chakra is the first, one that you start out with. January would be the first month in this. Then like the next month, February, I'd like to do the sacral chakra and just work it up from there. And next would be the solar plex, all that. You get what I'm saying? But I put it all together. At first, I'm reading this stuff and I'm like, oh my goodness, this makes so much sense. He's the guardian of the root chakra. And obviously, when you're working with that root chakra, if it's not stable, it's not stable. There was something that you didn't heal from when you were a child. If you maybe didn't grow up in the most loving home, and I'm not saying that that's me because I grew up in a very loving home. I grew up with a mother figure. It was not my mother, but my mother was always around. Okay. My mother was a young mother, so I knew that she loved me and she had me where I would be raised and be happy. And believe me, I was happy, and I didn't go without. I had a mother figure and I had a father figure. Kept up with my main, my real mom and dad, but there was a man and a woman. There was a male and female energy in my life. I had other, I even had another person, a great grandmother. I kind of looked at my mom, my grandmother, and my great grandmother as they were all my mom. They were all my moms. Like all three of them. I had three moms, and when I was a little girl, there was sometimes I would say that, like, well, I have three people that I, really look up to. I have three people that, really looks out to me, and they're females, and I learned from them. So I had these things present in my life. But then there were other things when I was a child that, the more you watch my videos, this is like my personal journey with the law of attraction. So it's kind of like an open diary, really. You're going to know things when you join my lives and when you subscribe to my channel, when you listen to my videos and different things like that, that there's people like blood relatives don't know about me. Like I'm either close with you or I'm not. It's not to say that, I don't love my family. But obviously in your family, there's people that you don't have everything in common with. That's just, I don't know. And I do have a lot of, I'm Shadow Girl, and I kind of look at myself as kind of like the black sheep in the family. At least one black sheep in the family. And but it's not to say I don't love my family. It's just some of them I don't know them. Like we just didn't grow up around each other. It's not like I didn't want to be around them more. So I don't want to go into it more. That's a whole other thing. But when you're watching this, you watch my channel, it's kind of like a diary, open diary. I'm going to be sharing some things that are kind of personal. I might kind of dress it up a little bit, but you're going to know things that like I might have known people for years and they don't know about it. Why? Because maybe they wouldn't understand it. And, I want to be around people that understand me. People, I definitely am making videos because I'm trying to reach out to people that maybe they need a light. You need to be lifted up. I want to be that light. You may have been bullied, whatever. And I went through some of those kind of things when I was a child, and I've carried that stuff. I still deal with it now. Like, I could meet somebody now and still not really see that person because I'm perceiving that, okay, well, they're being like this person. It may just be my perception of it. So I got to do that shadow work. But with that being said, guys, it, it just, I look at this and it all kind of works its way up because Lord Ganesh, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, he's kind of like the guardian of the root chakra. And if that chakra isn't, that's your foundation. If you want to think about it as a home, this would be like the basement. If you want to think about the tree, this is like the roots. Think about the roots and think about blood because the root chakra is red like blood and it deals with the energy, your blood relatives, your roots. Okay. Think about a tree. Think about your family tree. Guys, I love the way it all goes together. I swear, if I could, kind of talk to other people, they wouldn't look at it. I could see where, there would be different problems and so on and so forth. But guys, I can't keep talking about it. I just got to read the information because I know that all the talking I've done tonight, guys, I'm probably not even going to get through all the paperwork that I have. So let me hurry up and start this out. But basically, yeah, let me just read it. Okay. So this is the information that I found on about this, celebration Diwali. Okay. So at around 6 p.m. on the main day of Diwali, um, preparations preparations begin for the central or the ritual. I'm sorry, the ritual known as, and guys, I don't know how to pronounce the word. So, and I was, these are last minute notes. So just kind of bear with me. Kind of bear with me. I hope I brought all the notes that I wrote down. And I do believe that this is the very beginning of the notes. Okay. So just work with me here. And obviously there may be people that join this that so much more about it and you could lay it out in a better manner, but I can't help it that this celebration just seems so happy to me. And it's like, man, why wouldn't you want to be a part of it? And guys, again, anybody that's joining me tonight, thank you so much, because you could be somewhere else, like with a bunch of people or whatever, but you're here with me. And I want to thank you so much for sharing this with me. So anyhow, the way I understand, like a little bit before 6 o'clock, you would be making your last preparations for this whole thing. You would be, making your last preparations, and 6 p.m. is said to be the big start of everything, the way I understand. Okay. Like this is a powerful time. And the particular, like, the young lady that I have followed for years, she kind of gave I've seen a couple of her videos about it, but she had such a beautiful way in explaining it. Basically at like 6 o'clock is when I guess the energy, the energy would be present. Like you could open the door, of your home, and obviously, depending on where you live, I'm sure there's some places where, I know that there's some place, I forget where it is, but the place is set, it was on Oprah. It is so safe that they have like an hour like an hour, I believe, at like lunchtime, where they all take their babies outside. You can look it up. Oprah said it. Take their babies outside in their little carriages, and it's just this quiet, peaceful time where they all trust each other enough to where they take their babies outside in their little carriage or whatever. And I believe they shut the door, and the babies are just, it's like a little baby, like a community of babies. And everybody, it's so safe there, and they trust each other so much that they can do that. It kind of makes me think about the Cabbage Patch dolls. And if you're of a certain age, come on now, you know what a Cabbage Patch doll is. I'm not talking about my age. I haven't revealed any of that. And, once you finally know what I look like, then I guess you'll be the judge as to, do I look my age? Do I look younger? Do I look older? Guys, I feel like with the law of attraction and whatever things like that, and there is a thing called glamour magic, things could keep getting better and better. We've got to be positive here. And I'm sorry, I don't feel like I'm ugly anyway. So anyhow, that's just the way I feel. But with that being said, you don't know what I look like, all that, but when I started hearing about this, in this place, God, I wish I knew the name. It made me think about the Cabbage Patch dolls. Like, if you came up on a little garden and there were all a bunch of little cabbages, but the cabbages were babies. Okay, that's what this makes me think of when I heard about this place and how they're so trusting that everybody is so nice that they can actually take their babies outside and put them out in their little carriages and just know that everything's going to be okay. And I think that during that time, I don't know if it's like a siesta, like a little quiet, like celebration inside for the adults, if they have lunch or if they go to sleep or what you have to look it up and whatever. Maybe I'll make another video about that. But guys, I don't know where you're at. There are lots of places, obviously, maybe we may not feel like we can just open the door and let somebody in. But when I look at this little burner that I have in this picture right here, this makes me think of if I were wanted to leave like an offering for a deity, or I was working with a goddess or something. I would want to think that you have to have things in a certain way for them. Okay. And even if you think about when you think about God, okay, and I think about a person right now that so believes in this, and I do believe, oh gosh, guys, I so believe it's true. But I gotta admit, in points in my life, I have suffered from some deep depression, especially when my mom passed. That's a whole other story. But you may not feel the best all the time. Things may not be together perfectly, but I have learned, even with this young lady that I followed, when it comes to spirituality and you really start working with that type of thing, it's so said that it's not like you want to let just everybody come into your house. Like, that's your threshold. You come through your door, and that's where you relax. People can bring their negative energy into your home and leave it in your home. And it's kind of like, okay, you think about a person, like, here's everybody, you and your family could be having a wonderful time or whatever. And then somebody comes and knocks on the door. You let them in. They're in a bad mood. And they have turned the energy around in your home. Okay. And it said, okay, you might want to take sage or whatever and go around and get rid of that energy because they left it in your home. So just hear what I'm saying, right? Okay, so my idea is, it makes me think of like housewarming. And I didn't have everything that, Diwali calls for or whatever. So when I come, I'm like, okay, let me get something together because I have to have something set up so everybody will get the idea of what I'm talking about. I put a warmer up. I put a candle, you can put, essential oils, and you could put that in there in this. You could put wax in this, okay? I put a wax melt in there. It's a wax melt that I actually just got. It actually deals with the Day of the Dead. So please don't look at it as a disrespectful thing. The idea was I wanted to use this melt up because it smells amazing, and I misplaced it And I'm like, this is the time to start working with this. It's by Sensationals. I can't see it right now, but it's in the pictures kind of marked out. It was called Sacred Altar. And it was just, setting up an altar, working with your ancestors, whatever. But my idea here is, you know, you don't want to let just anybody, just any type of energy into your home. Even I've actually learned when it comes to spirituality and all that, it's so said that a lot of people put like a welcome mat out at the front of their house. I've read in the spiritual community, not everybody knows it, but that's not necessarily a good thing. You don't want any type of a spirit, just anybody, just to think, okay, you're welcome here. No, not everybody's welcome into your home. And that's a person. Even if a person comes to your house, they knock on what, you don't have to let that person in your home. This is your home. So you have to say, okay, you can come in, or hey, you can't come in because I'm not liking what you're selling. Hey, I don't even want people coming to my house selling things. You can put a sign outside that says that. It's your home. Okay. But my idea is here, like, it makes me think of a house warming. Like, who do you want? Who brings warmth into your house? What kind of energy do you want in your house? And it even makes me think of the idea of, what is the saying, or cleanliness is next to godliness. Okay. And the more I have looked into it, it does make a whole lot of sense. Okay. The better you feel about yourself, the better you're going to carry yourself. Obviously your environment is going to affect you. Okay. Even when it comes to the way you dress. Okay. And I want to talk about this more because I'm on the thing where I want to start looking the part. You have to look the part of, oh gosh, guys, I so apologize. This live is about to be shut off because, guys, I'm so talkative, but I'm going to tell you right now, for this live, this is going to be the first time that I'm going to try my best to figure out how to come back. I don't know everything about this whole TikTok thing, right? But I'm going to try my best because Diwali is said to be a thing where people are getting together and they're celebrating. Later on, it's going to be a thing of, okay, there's candles are lit and all that, but there's also going to be gatherings where families and friends are going to get together. The lights are going to stay lit, for hours more into the night. I don't know everything, but it's a celebration. Fireworks, a meal. There's places in the world where people are gifting each other, right? It's all about feeling good and uplifting, right? Having positive energy. So this is going to be the first time that I'm going to come back. I've been so talkative, but guys, that's just how much I love you guys. That's just how much comfort I feel with you guys. I'm going to say this. If you're watching this video, I do have a feeling that if I knew you in real life, because you're watching this, we have things in common. This is popped up on your For You page. This came to you. This was delivered to you. It didn't have to come to you. So I feel like there's a reason in that. I will say again that, I don't fit in everywhere, right? So I kind of feel like if you're watching this, if we were to meet in real life, maybe it would be the thing that maybe we would have went somewhere and we would be celebrating Diwali together. I would be giving you a gift and you would be giving me a gift and we would be like, oh, this is wonderful, whatever. We would maybe possibly go somewhere. And one time I got on here and I was talking about this and I said, we might go to Starbucks. I'm not saying I've never been to Starbucks, but there is an idea of Starbucks, I think, where Starbucks has an idea of like, there's certain people that kind of, I don't want to go there, but maybe we would be going what I'll call and getting a designer, coffee or latte, whatever, from Starbucks. But then again, maybe we would be going somewhere else. It could be the simplest place, whatever, but maybe we would be going somewhere else and having like an espresso or a coffee or just having drinks, or we would meet up and have dessert. I know me and my best friend one year for Valentine's Day, we specifically got together. It wasn't a big thing about money. We just got together. We said, okay, for this year for Valentine's Day, you and I are going to get together. Maybe not on Valentine's Day because, she's married, I'm not. But we got together. I don't believe it was Valentine's Day, but it was sometime during that period of February, maybe it stretched out into March. But when it may have been March, but I do believe it was that time of, the Valentine candies were in the store, the boxes of chocolates were in the store, the teddy bears were in the store, and the idea was, okay, I'm not married, but she wanted to make me feel okay. And Valentine's Day can make you feel some type of way if you're not with somebody. You know what I mean? You're not in a relationship, you're not married, whatever. But we said, okay, we're going to get together and we're going to have like a little girls thing. We're going to get together, we're going to hang out, we're going to laugh, we're going to have a good time. And we're going to get a really nice dessert. We are going to look on there. Maybe we're not going to, we didn't want to get a meal that may be a little bit too expensive, whatever, at that point. But we wanted to get together and we're like, we're going to get the best dessert on the menu. And I don't remember what it was, but I do believe it was something that was very, very chocolatey. I love chocolate. And I don't know if we had one dessert and we had like two spoons but it was something warm, I do believe, maybe been a little bit of ice cream, whatever, but I think it was lots of chocolate. And, but the idea was we went out together for that time and, it was just me and her having a good time, no guys, nothing like that, just us having a good time. And we had a good time, talked about what we wanted to talk about, and that was it. But the idea is, if you're watching this, I kind of feel like maybe in real life we could possibly do that and fill that time up and be good with each other and laugh and talk and everything would be great. So with that being said, when I've got 14 more seconds, after this goes off, this live shuts down because I've talked so long, I'm going to come back and finish this live and I'm going to read the notes that I made about this. So thank you.